I'm live. I almost accidentally clicked go live before I got my camera set up in OBS. And then I was like, why make an accident? Why not actually do it? Why make it an almost accident? Why not do it on purpose? So then I decided to do it on purpose. So I'm going to be setting up my cameras while um y'all look at some whatever screen is on the screen. And I was gonna open this by going like, "Welcome to No Collective Good Tarot. My name is Patrick." Where I am of no collective good right now, but that's fine. It's not that I'm of no collective good. It's maybe more appropriate to say that my interests are attention. I like the word attention more so than interest. Well, interests and attention and focus are a little more personal right now, or a lot more personal right now. Um, but anyway, I watched Remy's part two. One second, y'all. I watched Remy's part three actually, and I'm so glad part three was gate 8, which means that whenever the bodies come up, I don't have to be like, "Oh, gate 8, Miss Remy Healings. Wait until she come out with it, y'all," because it's up, and it didn't come out all too frequently. But I do remember there were times when the energy of the bodies and um, some bodies like awakening or shifting or whatever would come out. So, also in that reading, I believe the Earthkeeper came out. So, I am going to go look before and after the Earthkeeper in um, the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. And what I thought I had. Oh, okay. I guess it's this one. Um, let's do one of these. I guess I need a. Oh, yeah. I think that's it. It's a little brighter today. A little bit. And I think I'm ready. Hello. So there you go. I had to get it all set up. Hey Holly. Hey Twitty. How you doing? I was getting my camera set up and everything, so that's why there wasn't a video for the first part. But now I got to make sure it's actually in the correct orientation. So, how are y'all doing today? Matthew, Mesopotamia popped into my head today, and it made me think of you because I'm pretty sure you're the one that shared the song with me. Um, and also when Rob question mark or Kizzy Cat question mark mentioned the Four Kings, it reminded me of Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. Mesopotamia, Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. And when this song was like fresher in my brain, I couldn't remember how they fit all the names in there, but I remembered today. And then I remembered that I only did the Sargon reading, I think. And then, oops, almost dropped it. Oof. And then I remembered that I was also going to do the feminine side of those. Maybe I'll do that spread today. I think I have it somewhere. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Twitty. I think I saw. Oh, I didn't finish it. I started your video either before work or right before I went to sleep last night. And I was like, either falling asleep or I had to go to work. And then I was like, oh, there's a video that I wanted to finish, but I couldn't remember what it was. I was like, I know it's here. And then I think it was you posted it like yesterday or the day before. And I was like scrolling through my subscriptions box, and I don't even know if I made it to yesterday. And I couldn't find it. But now that I remember, I will finish it today. Excuse me, me neither, Twitty. So don't. I don't edit my videos. Well, um, Windows 10 finally put Movie Maker back into their standard library of programs or whatever. Because Windows Movie Maker used to be a thing, and I would just use Windows Movie Maker, but then it wasn't a thing. And now it is a thing, but they don't have transitions. I haven't found the transitions, so it's like super choppy. But anyway, I am going to try. Gonna try. I'll watch it. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Whenever I go out, the people always shout. There goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Okay, I think all I need to do is this. I could turn my camera off again so y'all don't see this part, but that's fine. Yep, that's what I needed to do. Right? No! Now it's backwards. Darn it, it was fine before. No! No! For some reason, when I go live on YouTube on my computer, it flips the video in the live window. And so if I open up actual like OBS, I can see. So anyway, you have iMovie. What? Oh, well, that works. That works. Oh, that's what the Mesopotamia song sounds like. Gotcha. I thought it was Everyone is Jack. I was at work. The Rainmaker. Did Remy get the Rainmaker? Somebody got the Rainmaker. Remy did get the Rainmaker. I had Jack's Donuts or something. And then somebody was like, isn't that the dude that makes beef jerky? And I was like, no, that's Jack Links, like different Jack. And then someone was like, isn't he the one that does the beer? And I was like, well, there's Jack Daniels, also different Jack. You're not so familiar with any of it. Oh, with like iMovie either. Okay. Let's see if I still have that Sargon spread. The Rattle and the Rainmaker. Oh, Water in the Rattle. Okay. I'm so. Excuse me. Sleepy. I feel like it hasn't been this bright. Oh, it's so bright. Ooh. This is zoomed like way in. Well, I guess it isn't because these cards are pretty sizable. The Blade and the Luminous Warrior on one side, 6/5. Similar color-ish schemes. Oh, you can't even see the Luminous Warrior. There he is. The Blade and the Luminous Warrior on this side. I've been seeing at work, all of the computers have been like bridges. Golden Gate Bridge. Oh, I was going to do that. It's fine. Golden Gate Bridge. There was some other bridge. And then it was like islands or whatever. And I'm like, I'm ready to travel. I want to go somewhere. I want to do something. I want to go somewhere. The end of May can't come quick enough. I need to travel now. One moment, please. I need to blow my nose. All right. You want to be on? Oh my goodness. You won't be on TikTok anytime soon? Let's get Twitty bursting on TikTok. Why am I here? Let's put this. Let's put this away. Ooh, the curse and the beloved. Both of these are fives. So we got a 6, a 32-5, a natural 5, and a 14-5. And then we have the child, which is a 7, and upper world, which is a 59-5. 59 breaking down to the 14, which is a 5. Lots of fives, a 6 and a 7. So like this, I guess, for the sake of breaking all this down. And then I'm going to see where the. Oof. That's the one thing about this angle. Oh, 1 second. Let me see if I can actually fix this a bit. Because I was going to be, that's the one thing like about this angle that doesn't necessarily always work, but at the same time, maybe we can get it to. Through a little bit of app video manipulation. That kind of helps. See, but then the angle is weird. Oh, if that were only. Oh, wait. There we go. That's a little bit better. That's marginally better. 1 second. I would say usually I have all this figured out before I hit the live button, but that would be a lie. Well, sometimes. I was like, sometimes. Okay. Sargon, Hammurabi, Ashurbanipal, and Gilgamesh. I feel like, one moment. Just another moment, please. And then I can do this. Oh, maybe. Anyone remember what was that? X-Men the animated series, 19, whatever. No, no, no. That's better? Question mark. I guess that's fine. It is what it is. There we go. Okay. So now I'm gonna look to see where junior high algebra. Train. One train leaves Tokyo going 1110. Which one reaches Denmark first? Okay. So I'm going to look and see where the Earthkeeper is. Thunder, Taming the Wind, and Soul Retrieval. 5655. Interesting. But that's not the card I'm looking for. So let's see. Not there. The Blade, the Luminous Warrior, and Thunder. The Witness, Under the Curse and the Beloved. The Witness in the Heart of the Sky. Also interesting. Is it going to be in that third one? It is. Corn. There we go. The Earthkeeper is in between the Giveaway and the Shaman, with Corn in the circle. So the Child in the Upper World. 2332. Giveaway and the Luminous Warrior. The mirror to that number. I thought I had a 24. The Heart of the Sky is 24. 23 is another 5, interestingly enough. And then a 48, which is a 12. So, don't forget to show your work. There you go. The Sorcerer is interesting. The Sorcerer came out a few times. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. I have the Gilded Tarot and the Lion Strider Tarot. I use the Gilded Tarot. I've already pulled them out now. I'm going to give this a few shuffles, and then I'm going to pull face down. Okay. Oof. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Arr. Okay. I only wanted 2, but that's fine. If I had to... The 18. I'll look before and after the moon. Because the moon is major number 18. What's the moon look like in this deck? I don't even know if I would recognize the moon if I saw it. Uno momento. I need to put my phone on the charge. Is that the king and the queen of cups together? Or yeah, the king and queen of swords are together. That's interesting. Okay. I want to put all these down and then we'll get into it. I could have like just fully passed the moon because I do not remember what it looks like. There's a star. The moon, it might already be on the table. I'm gonna give this one. Oh, it's literally right here. Literally at like the top of the deck. Oh, the Empress. Interesting. The Three of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles outside. The window. Oh. I feel like I don't even know if I read the instructions all the way through. It was probably a toss up between the times I did and the times I didn't. I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. Can I just end this video and pretend like I could just end the video and delete it. No one would ever know. I am most people. So the child in the upper world, it feels like um a very juvenile energy. What this makes me almost immediately think of is how um it was recently. Oh, the thought. I had the thought and it literally just left my brain. What was it? I guess that's not it. It's fine. The child in the upper world, it feels like there's a maturing that happens um, throughout this process or by the end of the process because the child is the child. Um, and in that space of maturation, it feels like there is oh my gosh. It is okay. I'm going to start by saying take it as it resonates if it resonates. And this may or may not fit into the narrative that we are assembling right now. But it's so hard to keep a thought. It's like as soon as I get it, it's gone. It's almost like if you were to drop your kid off at school on the first day, and or just anywhere. And it's like, okay, there you go. Have a good time. And for the child, especially if it's their first day or especially if it's their first time, then it's like there might be a bit of separation anxiety. Especially, it's like if you encounter something where you feel uncomfortable, then you don't have the parent there to hide behind. Or if you encounter a choice and you don't know what to decide, then you don't have a parent to defer to. And it feels like there was something, it's like the space of becoming was left open. And it could become anything. Oh, it was the energy of when it was like the twisted Hierophant energy. It's because like Hierophant served a purpose in society, but then we started to depend and rely more and more and more on the Hierophant, giving the Hierophant or Hierophant energy more and more and more influence and power to the point where it rivaled monarchical structure systems in some places in the world, or it was like the thing above like kings and queens and emperors and empresses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it was that energy of what it became because of our dependence on it, because of how we used it or how they used it, whoever was around back in the day, for it to become what it became. Now, if this was past, present, future, it's interesting. I guess it isn't that interesting. John D and QE first. I have no clue. Yes, that is the curse behind the beloved. Sorry, Twitty. It is. Yeah, I just put myself up there. I just put myself up there. Teeny tiny. Oh my gosh, I'm the child. Just kidding. And it's interesting that the child is seven because seven is that number. It's like, that spiritual number. I feel like seven, especially after the six, it's almost like when we realize that there is more to the world than what we thought there was before. And so it opens us up to greater insight and understanding. And then the 59 5, it's interesting because if the first digit or the tens place is spirit and the ones place is physical, um, then oh, John D. Okay. I remember Russ talking about John D. And every time I see that name, I don't know, I think like John Deere or something. Queen Elizabeth. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right. That name never registers in my brain. But that's fine. The tens place is spirit, the ones place is earth. And so it's like there's this change in the spirit that it like supersedes the earth. It's like Earth has already reached completion, but Spirit is like asking us to go beyond that. So I feel like even in that, there's something that it's like at its conception or at its inception, it wasn't capable of understanding or being. It was a child. We don't expect from children what we expect from adults. We understand that children are children. And while they're learning and growing, they're gonna, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? But it's like we understand that there's a lack of experience and a lack of lived life and a lack of many things. And there's a, not always, but it's for the child to discover for themselves who they are and what they will be. It's not for any adult or anyone else to dictate or determine, although that can happen sometimes. Eve, John Deere and his magic tractor. Hey Eve, how you doing today? He was the equivalent to the SARS Nostradamus. Ooh, that kind of sort of helps me, but not really. I don't know anybody, so it's fine. And it's interesting because it's like there are so many things for the child to discover about like the natural world. The natural world in terms of nature, the natural world in terms of like the food chain and social interactions and stuff like that, but also the natural world in terms of um like what is realistic and what is possible and how things sort of come to be. It's like all that the child had to learn because being energetic or spiritual or whatever is it's different. It's a different set of interactions than being like physical. You know what I mean? So that's this energy up here. It's very I would say starborn, but it's just like divine giant. You know what I mean? So the sorcerer and the giveaway, clarifying the Earthkeeper. This is more than I bargained for. This is more than I wanted. I don't know what I wanted. I should have just pulled before and after the one card and just left it there, but it's fine. The sorcerer and the giveaway, it feels very fool. It feels very magician to the fool. It reads as very it reads as very Native American. Some Native American cultures maintain the belief that early in the days of humanity, there were others that came and basically sort of like helped us get our grounding and our footing. Um, they taught us many things before they departed. And it's not exclusive to Native American beliefs. There are a few peoples who believe that early in the days of life on Earth, there were those who came and helped us in whatever way. And that's very much this energy with the sorcerer and the giveaway. It's like the things that they taught before they left. Um, I could still do it. I could just shut the I was saying, but I don't know if you were here yet. I was like, I could just shut this off and delete the video and pretend like I never attempted to go live. But that's this energy. But again, even as the the 5 to the 9, it feels like information that was beyond our ability to fully understand or comprehend being that sort of young. And it almost reads very like young idealist who sees the world. It's like, why do we fight each other? Why can't we all get along? Why can't we share our resources? And then, there's someone else who's like, well, real life isn't like that because people are selfish or whatever. And I feel like that's part of the like learning what the world is like type of thing. But I think, again, going back to the energy of like allowing the child to become who it wants to be, number one, and who it is meant to be, number two, and whatever version of the adult that child becomes between those two. Um, because it feels like that's what this Knight of Wands is over here with the giveaway. It's like it feels like it's about allowing us to discover for ourselves our passions, our desires, and how we go about meeting them. And the Sorcerer Empress energy was the one that taught of living in harmony and balance with the natural world around you and how to connect to the spirit that dwells within your body and the the universal force that flows through us all, stuff like that. But again, I love the moon. Oh, I was gonna say I love the moon card on top of this Earthkeeper because that just goes to further emphasize how incapable early humanity would have been at fully comprehending and understanding everything. But I pulled around that. So, that's a card I went looking for. It didn't just come out. But it's still there though, because it's the energy of the 18 on the Earthkeeper, which is a 9. But it's like it broke this physical 9 down. Oh, that's interesting. It broke the physical 9 down to an 18, where we're still near our limit because that's the 8 and the physical, but now the 1 is in the spiritual. I love the 1 for being leadership. I love the 8. I don't love the 8 for being a trap, but 8s to me feel like they can be traps, hard to escape. And so it's almost like going back to the stories of those who were here early in the days of humanity. Some cultures may have called them like gods or revered them as gods because they were closer to the great mystery than we were. And so it's like it's very adjacent, but it's a step down, and it's like it's easier to kind of sort of comprehend and understand. So I'm going to break this down even more. And I'm going to go for I'm just going to do 2 steps. So I'll go for the 27 and then the 36 if the cards aren't even, if they're still here. as we sort of like grow and mature and live more life and um further understand being individuals who are so interwoven and interconnected with each other. And as we understand individual desires and pursuits um, versus more sort of collective ones. So no need the 36. I just found the 63, but you're not the 36, so. Where's the 36? Hello? Is the 36 already on the table? No, I don't think so. Am I missing a card? Oh, here it is. Oof, well. No surprise, that water comes out. Homo luminous as opposed to sapien. Ooh, I love that, Twitty. We get the council and water. Okay, so back to this. Um, yeah, because that's the thing about what I feel like I've already said everything I need to say in this space right here. Um, and so Earthkeeper energy, it's almost like it had to go dormant or had to step back in order to allow us as humanity to decide who we're going to be and how we're going to be and if we're going to be and for how long we're going to be. um, because, children should be given the freedom to mature into themselves. So we got the Six of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Four of Pentacles, clarifying the child. This is interesting. So the Wheel of Fortune would be sitting in the space of the Five of Pentacles. And I saw the five of Pentacles was on the outside of the window. It was the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. I actually saw the Five of Pentacles when I was shuffling too. It feels like there's something here about it's almost like at the point that we reach the Six of Pentacles on Earth, we reach the Six of Pentacles with spirit or with all that lies beyond the immediately perceivable. Because, the Four of Pentacles is the hoarder. The Four of Pentacles is the one that builds and builds and builds and like accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. But again, it feels like it leads to an energy of decay in the environment because the Four of Pentacles doesn't give. The Four of Pentacles doesn't put anything back to keep things circulating and moving. The Six of Pentacles understands flow. And because of that, it's like it keeps it aerated and it keeps it fresh and not stagnant and not what's the word for uh it's like when things get festering, not festering, whatever. Boo, boo. Maybe the dormant Earthkeepers are stirring. I think the dormant Earthkeepers are stirring. Um, Wait, is it really Twitty? It's part of the mystical shaman co-creator Alberto Violdo's book, The Four Insights, Homo Luminous. Oh, snap. And I feel like us deciding who we're going to be and how we're going to be and what we want for ourselves, each other, and the world at large is what gives like Earthkeeper energy more permission to reveal itself again. Because again, it feels like with the giveaway and the Knight of Wands here, it was for us to discover what we desired. And so they had to go away. It's like if your parents are always there, almost like subconsciously or not. And again, I know that everyone's parental situation is different. But if the parent of the child is always there, then it's like the child is always going to do the thing that its parent would find favorable or good or whatever to get the praise and approval of the parent. But it's like, once you go out on your own, then you discover who you are outside of, trying to live up to someone else's image. On the upper world, it's Death and the Seven of Pentacles. This Death and Seven of Pentacles, Death and the Seven of Pentacles, it feels like a college fund. Or maybe like less college and more just like, when you come of age, it's like we're gonna put money into this account so that when you come of age, it will be a sizable sum of money. And when you reach a certain level of maturity, when you reach a certain age, it is assumed or not, you get access to this because you're old enough now, right? If you got access to it when you were a child, like not only would it not accrue to be what it will be in 18 to 20 to whatever, however many. I live in America and here it's 18. So it's like not only will it not be today what it will be in 18 years because of what it accumulates, but also it's like, it probably all go to like toys or like candy or their children are different. So it can go to any number of things. Um, but it feels like what we do and desire as a child, we may not necessarily still wish to do, we may not necessarily still desire when we come of age. But that's why, like with this Seven of Pentacles, with every pentacle being in the tree, and then that Death card, it's like when the Death card hits, that's when they fall from the tree, and then she can like pick them up off of the ground and put them in her basket or whatever. Again, the Wheel of Fortune, though, as we move from the Four of Pentacles to the Six of Pentacles, that's when the next step from the six, oh, look, Six of Pentacles, Death, into the Seven. So Death is in between. Oh, gosh, 1 second. Death is between the Six and Seven of Pentacles. So I got to go for the in between tarot. Oof. I got all this space down here. There we go. I'm trying to it's for illustrative purposes, Eve. It's not gonna fit 100%. The toys are different when you're an adult. Well, sometimes they're not. Nostalgia is a thing. There are entire industries built upon nostalgia. Have you seen eBay? I'm actually gonna take this as it is. The Nine of Swords and the Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Oh, is it literally right there? No, that's the seven. And so I'm looking for the six into the seven of Pentacles. Oh, there it is. Oh, well. I guess this is another deck that's on the table now. I guess this also accounts for inflation. It's like maybe the money is more when you get older, but it still gets you just as much. So the energy of the six into the seven of coins, it's in between the high priestess and the king of coins. And I love that we have the baby here. I love that there are all these butterflies over here, butterflies on both sides that symbolize, change. And it's interesting because somebody on Instagram on their story, they just shared the little cartoon of the caterpillar and the butterfly, where the caterpillar is like, "You've changed," and the butterfly was like, "Yeah, we're supposed to." Again, it's like things are supposed to change. And at that point, at the time that they do, that's when things will start to be sort of released, and that's when maybe the Earthkeepers will return. Or more so than the Earthkeepers themselves returning, that's when the knowledge and information that the Earthkeepers instilled when we were children will start to make sense in a way that it might not have at that time. And so, yeah, see, I feel like this just because here's the baby, and then there's the grandmother teaching the granddaughter the craft. So I feel like that just kind of sort of, um, it's just like everything I already sort of said. I don't think this in between energy is given anything necessarily too different, but that's fine. I think though too, this speaks of ancestry and progenitors. Um, it's like as generation after generation after generation of humanity has sort of like lived their lives and imparted things into their children, we move closer and closer to the sun out of the moon, are closer and closer to the day out of the night. And moving closer and closer or more into the day and out of the night, it's sort of more so than night and day. It's like known unknown because we learn more as the generations sort of proceed. Our knowledge expands and increases, and we have an opportunity to become wiser. Not only because we're more knowledgeable, also because there's more history. There are more examples of like when this happens, that happens. And it's not to say that whenever this thing happens, that has to happen, but it's like, um, how kids learn that, fire is hot. You touch something, you get burned a few times, and then you learn not to touch it. It almost speaks to the lessons that only lived life can really sort of teach us. things that, again, the sorcerer, empress, grandmother, earthkeeper energy, it's like it can be told and taught, but without that experience, the information doesn't stick or it doesn't really make sense. And I feel like that's it. I could go like all the way into this, but why? You know, maybe I'll save that for another day. And it's already been like an hour. So we're in the seventh cycle of seven. No, as far as you know. The Magic Baby from Cindy's reading. I forgot to finish that one too. I fell asleep that day and then I woke up and I went live. I think the Ides of March is the 15th. I think the Ides are the 15th. It's like in the Roman calendar, there were Ides of every month. And I think they either fell on like the 13th or the 15th or something like that. I learned that in Latin in high school, but I forgot. Forgot. Seventh son of the seventh son. SON or SUN. Do do do. The transit on March 18th. March 18th is my aunt's birthday. My auntie. Auntie. Excuse me. Oh, I hope I get some good sleep today. I woke up like every 2 hours last night. I'm sleeping like a lunar eclipse is coming. Ooh. After the first fortnight. Oh, that makes sense. Am I done? I think I'm done. I can timestamp this. I'll timestamp it. Um, I don't know. I'll say intro 0000. I do no. Darn it. I need all my keys. I haven't used you yet, so you can sit here. What's the first one? It's the child and the upper world. 0000. The curse and the beloved. I think it's like 58 minutes. That's close enough. Timestamps are approximations. It's like 58, 45. I'll say 59 minutes. I'll fix it. I will fix that. Excuse me. Oh. I'm looking at the chat. So this is I'm reaching up to grab these. And I'm looking at the chat and in my peripheral vision I see something like rising up on the screen. I'm like, "Whoa, what's that?" And it's my hand. It was my hand. The Virgo full moon. Ooh. You had dreams of seals last night. Oh, not the animals. Ooh. Like seals, like sealed seals or like breaking seals? Gold seals. What? Where's Russell? Recovering? Question mark. He might be getting the implants this weekend? Question mark. Oh, I forgot this deck here. Do, 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 do. Oh no, no. Excuse me. Until one night in. Okay. So now we have the curse and the beloved. Let's see. Trying to get these straight ish. So next is the 27. So we're stepping down in the physical and we're raising the spiritual. Because it's like the more we're capable of understanding the spiritual, the further from our limit, the further from the limit of the physical, right? It's like if there was a set amount of water in a column. As you push one side down, the other side is going to go up. So we're pushing this side down in order to raise that one, right? Are these even nines? It was 18. That's why. Okay. I was like, how did I end up on the nines? It's because the 18 was a nine. We had the 59 where it's like we're at our limit with the nine being Earth completion. And Spirit is like still trying to change more stuff. And we're like, I don't understand. So that's why we're stepping this down. So I pulled before and after number 27. And then I pulled before and after number 36 here. Um, and now they're all in reverse. So it's the council, the hunter, and the sun. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Because we just had the energy of the moon and the baby. I was talking about how, we're going from the moon to the sun. As we know more, we come more into the light. There's less unknown. But sometimes the more we know, the more we realize that we don't know. But we know more than we knew before, regardless of the questions that we've acquired along the way. So the council and the sun are coming out on both sides of the hunter. But yes. Here's another 8. 8, 9, 11. Where's 10? 5 and 5 could be 10. This is interesting because the council came out with the arrow a while ago. And I thought about that energy because I think the council came out and one of Ream's reads. Hey, there's Russell. There he is. Speak Twitty, and he shall appear. Was it Twitty? Yep, that was Twitty. Hey, Janelle, how you doing? It's in his blood. Not your problem, Holly. Did I say your problem? No problem, Holly. How you doing, Russ? Oh, excuse me. I thought about that the other day. The council, I think it was because the council popped up in somebody's reading, and it made me think of the because it's like if the council sits at the 13 or the 11, then there's an energy at the 12 or the 14 or whatever. It's a step above. Um, The curse, the beloved, the son, the hunter, the counsel. This feels like, and they're both fives. So there was a 7-5, a 5-5, and a 6-5. This 5-5, it really does feel like the in between space. Like we start as children, the luminous warrior is the fully grown adult. This is everything in between. And it feels like the curse and the beloved, it almost speaks to the pain of an Earthkeeper frequency or a divine frequency that would like see us suffer and not be able to interfere. If that makes sense. I feel like it makes sense. And so the hunter is the one that seeks things out. I'm pulling like 15 different decks. I'll pull before and after the seeker. Excuse me. You're playing with the runes while you heal. So wait, when do they put them in? When is that happening? Russ. 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 You just saw the full moon date? When is the full moon? The defector, the queen of swords, the eight of swords, the three of pentacles. Oh, well, there's the seeker. The corruptor, a new world order. With the magician and the journeyman. The journeyman is this space. Oh my gosh, look at this. I love this. Here's the eight. When we had first, we had the 3 and the 5 outside of what came out here, but it was the 4 that transitions into the 6, death that leads to the 7 of pentacles, and now we have the 8 of pentacles here on the outside with the magician and the 9 of cups behind the magician. Jupiter is in Pisces right now, but anyway. And Eva's doing the Mercury series right now. But the journeyman, it's the space of this individual becoming the magician. And it's funny that Russ mentions runes and healing because of the runes on the face of the journeyman. Come through, camera autofocus. Let's go. Let's go. Wait, look at my camera autofocusing today. Okay. It's also interesting that the 7 of chalices is here because at the bottom of the mini Guild Tarot Royale is the 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups, 7 of chalices, with the 4 of Cups here. Anyway. And the Knight of Cups. Lots of cups at the bottom. Oh, look, there's a 3 and the 5 of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles with the Peacock. Peacocks have been coming out lately. Peacocks came out in the last video, the Spirit of Swords. And it reminded me of the video that Russ did a while ago. It's interesting that it reminded me of the video that Russ did a while ago. It was one of his picker readings when he was not in France. When he was in France. And the Peacock came out. And I was just talking to Remy last night because I watched her Gate 8 video. And when the Earthkeeper came out, it made me think of the Aquafarians. And I was telling her, I was like, it made me think of the Aquafarians. And Russ did a reading or a few readings a while ago, um, early ish in his journey outside of the UK. And it was like the when the Peacock came out, it was in the Aquafarian time for me. So I thought about that last night, but that's fine. Peacock is not on the table, so I didn't even have to talk about all that. But Peacock actually is on the table because there it is. Sort of front and center, low key. And it's interesting because like there are these two. Everyone is like next to another one besides the peacock. Well, I guess the peacock is fairly close to the pig and fairly close to the snake. I mean, there's a lot of stuff around the peacock, but the peacock still kind of sort of stands out in a way. Anyway, peacock actually is on the table. So, um, you saw what? Wait, you're not sure stitches come out Saturday? Then the post will be screwed in before the teeth. Okay. Wait, the full moon is on the 18th. Oh, okay. That's interesting. One of my Pisces buddies was the new moon in Pisces was on his birthday. The full moon in Virgo is going to be on my aunt's birthday. Cascade was the peacock, and you just talked about that. Did you just post? I just saw that word recently. Um, but it was the one. Wait, so was that the one with the peacock in the video? Or is that the one where the peacock came out on the house card? I think it was the house in the Lenormand. I don't remember. It was a while ago. You're on porridge and miniature pasta that don't need chewing. Oh. If you want to discover aquafarians, I will direct you to Russell. No, not the one with the actual peacock. It was the one um it was like Hayoka energy and there was a peacock outside of the house. It was a pick a pile. Yeah, no, not that one. Not that peacock. Saturn, Air, Venus, and Scorpio. The curse and the beloved. So that's what the curse and the beloved feels like. Um, See, this is interesting because the seeker and the hunter, this is our journey. This is our search to connect to something greater. The council with the Seven of Cups, it speaks to anything that is, I don't want to say beyond, anything that is closer than we are, that would have the ability to portray itself in a certain way. It doesn't even have to portray itself in a certain way. It's almost like anything that is closer. It's like we can convince ourselves that we see things in an energy that the energy just may not be providing at all. So it reads like false gods, but um, it almost makes me think of the emperor again, or not the emperor. It makes me think of how the Hierophant was twisted because of our dependence on it. Like we twisted the Hierophant. Most things in this world and of this world can only reach a certain level of power without the input and or complacency of people. And with the curse, it almost feels like while there were many, many higher energies that we would sort of go for, there was always something that couldn't be spoken. It's almost like if we thought I feel like I need to be careful. It's like if we thought the divine was in a mango and the divine was actually in an apple. The apple couldn't tell us that mango is not what you think it is, because that would violate its like non-intervention. It's like, well, they have to learn for themselves. There's while they are living mango. I don't know why mango is. Let's pick a different fruit. Bananas, apples and bananas, or oranges. Apples and oranges. Um, I mean, it's not even an. Oh, it's interesting that I would make it an apple when a lot of times the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is coded as an apple. That was poorly thought out all over. We're looking in one direction, and that direction has more to offer and provide us than where we are. So we invest more and more and more in that particular direction. And wherever Waldo really is, Waldo can't tell us where he is, because part of the maturation of the child is that we find Waldo. And I feel like that also it falls under this curse energy. Like no matter how much we are loved and no matter how much we are cared for, we're allowed the space to become who we are, who we will be, and who we're meant to be, and where those intersect and meet. Um, the sun in the New World Order, I mean, it kind of sort of comes out as a fairly obvious, like, this is where it really is. And it's interesting. What's interesting is 11 plus 7 is 18, which actually moves us back a step or puts us under the energy of the moon. But 11 plus 3, 11, 8 plus 3 is 11. So it's like where the truth of that council energy actually is over here. It's not here under this moon. And there are a lot of things that you can hide in moonlight and partial light. It's like if you look at this energy from this angle and like this much light, then it almost looks like what you're looking for. Oh, it's a heart inside a heart. It almost looked like the Empress's Venus was inside of the heart. It almost reminded me of that. Because I think on the Rider Waite Empress, on the egg, it's a little bit more heart shaped. I think. I say I know, like I have the deck. I think it's a little more heart shaped on the Rider Waite. Um, Fruit salad. What did Tom Cardy say about fruit salad? You- Excuse me. The 18th is a full moon in Virgo. I think there's also something here that teaches us independence in a way. It's almost like when we rely on the wrong people or the wrong organization, the wrong structure, when we rely on the wrong anything to provide something for us, and when we reach the point where we realize that it's either incapable of providing or for whatever reason it's not providing what it is that we want or need, it's almost like we get the opportunity to then learn to provide it for ourselves. And I think that's one of the reasons, not why it's allowed, that's one of the benefits of searching for something in a place that we won't find it. And last year, when I was going through my White World Bridger lesson, going back to that Aquavarian energy, it's the space of what things have the opportunity to become because it's not done right the first time. There are so many things that we have now that are accidents. Somebody was trying to invent something or create something or recreate something else, and they ended up with this thing. Was it question mark? Somebody was trying to recreate a French fry and they sliced the potato too thin, and that's how we ended up with chips. Maybe not. That could be wildly inaccurate. Somebody could have been trying to recreate a chip and they didn't cut it thick enough and we got French fries. um, but it's like not the mistake. And is that a limitation to council energy? Because there are many councils. Um, so maybe that's the limitation too. Because again, the council, at least how I feel the energy, or how it appeared to me, is like there's the council, but then there's an energy above the council. And the energy above the council can see further down parallel pathways to understand that sometimes falling short can lead to opening up whole new avenues that would have been much more difficult to navigate to or would be harder to come about if everything went according to plan the first time. Because it's like if you're not seeking to get that exact thing, you would never get it. It's like there's no offshoot. There's no, and that goes back to the 5 4 3 2 1. When things are too orderly, there's a lot of the beauty and magic of life that is lost through happenstance and through serendipity. And it's almost like that's why, ugh, I hate when I'm doing stuff like this and then I get randomly emotional for no reason. I don't want to say like that's why we're allowed to suffer because that would be I don't want to say gross. Um, but it's like that's why silence can be maintained sometimes because of all that we discover later. And I went for the Vitruvian deck here. If this was the Revelations deck, the Axe of Shiva would have been there ready to remove corruption. But this corruption is important. It's almost like we as a humanity didn't have to. It's because we can be so I almost want to say depraved, because we can be so self-centered to the point where we can cause irreconcilable hurt and damage for the fulfillment of our own desires and for the furthering of our own goals. Um, it's almost like we, in us doing that, we get to see how that affects the world and choose to not. And that plays into the Shayna creation without destruction that was also in Gate 8 with Marduk, because we've lived destruction. And so it's like, because we've experienced it, we can make a conscious choice to do something different rather than just like happening to not, right? It's almost like the child that, oh, not child, we're at least the teenager now. We're not a child anymore. So it's like the teenager that gets their first job and they work for $100 to get whatever they want, rather than the teenager who's given whatever they want. It's like when you're given whatever you want versus when you have to work for the money and then use that money to get what you want. There's a different understanding of money in terms of like how much things cost. And it's not, I think it could be, it's almost irrelevant, but I guess I'll mention it anyway. It's like, it's not to fall prey to lack consciousness, and it's not to feel that resources are limited, but it's to understand acquiring a resource and then using that resource to acquire something else rather than just being given the something else in the first place. There's an exchange that's better understood as we engage in the exchange. And as we engage in that physical exchange, so too are there correlations to spiritual, energetic, emotional, etheric, whatever else exchanges. And as we understand these different exchanges, it almost comes in with principles of energy, where it's like now we can take thermal energy and convert it to kinetic energy to get this thing to move in this way. It's like we can understand physical exchange in a way where we can convert it to spiritual um, change. And it makes me think of Twitty and how somewhere on one of Rob's videos, I'm sure, or maybe on one of Twitty's videos, how Twitty talked about how she'll like do things physically to like move energy or to move things energetically or spiritually. It's like, as we understand that those correlations in a lot of different ways, then when we come to translate that energy, it's like there are it's like a joints that connect different things, the tree of life, the Kabbalah. We understand the different sephira, the different nodes where those things sort of connect, and we can better manage those relationships. We can alchemize things better. And it's like, we really get to choose because we have the choice. The choice isn't made for us, which is why, again, we had to detach from the parent here. And everything done, it's done. It feels like everything done is done from the perspective of the child. This is the perspective of the parent that has to let their child go. This is the child as they're like discovering themselves and learning what earth what the world is like. But again, it feels like it's an emphasis on like when the child is the child, even when the adult is the adult, when the person is the person. A lot of times we learn the world and we think that that is what the world is. That's all that the world has to offer us. And that's not necessarily true. But again, with the council and the corruptor energy, it's like if that's something that we have to, I don't, if that's something that we have to be allowed to believe before we work through that belief and realize that the world is bigger than we think it is in some ways and that it's capable of giving us more than what we've gotten before. It's all a part of the choice. This is very, very hands off parenting because, again, with the giveaway and the Knight of Wands, it's about allowing us the space to decide for ourselves. And so, if we choose to, and maybe this isn't even about corruption, maybe it's just about choice, choosing the beliefs, the counsels that we subscribe to, that we fall under. And in that way, it's like no one is necessarily the right one, but it also is a little bit of an energy of if that is the only counsel that we know, then there may be wisdom that other counsels can provide that we'll never get access to. Sometimes that energy can actively refuse the wisdom of other counsels depending on how fervently we hold on to some beliefs. I'm proud of myself. Because when I was talking to Reem last night, I was like, last time I talked about this, I feel like I got spicy. I was like, I feel like I got a little chili pepper. And I haven't been chili pepper yet. I'm doing good. Let's go. Time to timestamp. The Blade and the Luminous Warrior 133. Oh, I'm over here freaking out about not having access to my number pad, but I literally have all the number keys like right here. I'll say 133. Okay. Sorry, I'm not really paying attention to the chat. Oof. Reem was like, I like spicy Patrick. I was like, no, no. It has been a second since a chili pepper has come out. Yeah, that's what it was. It was tipping. I remember that. I remember that. Magic and Mystery of Tibet. Ooh. I hope I remember that. So now we move on to the Blade of the Luminous Warrior. This is immediately like the training wheels are off type of energy. It's also interesting that it's the training wheels are off energy with the sword because of the Archangel Commander being the space of when we utilize our autonomy to make choices and decisions rather than leaving councils to make things happen in such a way. Okay, what was I talking about? The blade was the space where we take up the sword ourselves and then we're taught how to use the sword. So it's interesting that it's the blade and the luminous warrior. And I already know what card I would go for. It would be the Archangel Commander, but I don't want to use the same deck because I've used different decks this whole time. So I'm going to use the same deck, but also use a different deck. So now we're going to move into the revelation of what this Vitruvian sort of revealed. And right at the top is the Emperor, which we love to see. Speaking of the king of the king of the king of the king of the kings, the Chancellor at the bottom of the deck. If I can get this box back on here. I'm looking for the Archangel Commander. Oh, and there it is. 8 of Wands, the sharpshooter with the Empress. What? Empress energy is back. Okay, so kind of sort of like I said in the beginning, how it came out in the beginning. Once we become full-blown adults, or once we mature more, the Empress, that Earthkeeper energy. Oops, I had the right card. The Empress Earthkeeper energy makes a return. It comes back. Okay, cute work. We have water. So the 36 is the middle world, which is interesting. Ooh, the Gatherer 21 in water. This is interesting because we just had in the same space are on the same side, right? It was the Sun and New World Order on the left. Now we have the 21 on the left again, but this time it's the Gatherer. You know what I love about the Gatherer? You know what I absolutely love about the Gatherer coming out in the space of the more matured child is, and the return of the Empress. This is exactly it. Because in the beginning, with that 59, it's like everything that energy said sort of like would go over our heads because we were too inexperienced to really understand it in all that it has to offer. It almost it reads as a word from a wise one, how it'll resonate and it'll make sense in one way, but as time progresses or as we live life or after something happens, that same word that meant so much in one way before now takes on a whole new meaning and it unfolds in a whole new way. And now we can gather what it is that we weren't able to get access to before because we didn't know how that knowledge applied in these ways to, I want to say turn it into wisdom, but it feels like something beyond just wisdom. And again, it's like it's in the middle world, which I love, love, because now it's like um I guess it's more here. It's easier to it's more tangible rather than it being like this super high etheric sort of like we understand the concept, but for some reason there's this disconnect between how we know the energy is and what we perceive in real life. This is the Sage of Zones. And I'm going to have to look at my cheat sheet to see which of the cards has the Sage of Zones on it. So give me 1 second. Oh, what? I actually have the document in my quick access? No way. I didn't think I thought I was gonna have to search for this document, but it's literally right here, which I love. Love that. Let me just see what the number is so I know what to search for. I think I have a card with this on it, but I might. Oof. Now that I look at the number, I might not have a card with this on it. But I know I've used the Diceology, or maybe I used dice before, and the energy of the Sage of Zones came out. Oh, yes, there is a card. Gold 1. Ooh, okay. So the card I'm looking for is Material Intervention, the coming of spring and mastering the game of life. Oh my gosh. Synchronicity. So the reason why that's so synchronous, so this is what I'm wearing today. Give me a second. Hold up. Hold up 1 minute. 1 minute. Oof, y'all gonna see a whole bunch of mess. Oof. I can do this instead. I'm gonna do this instead. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna do this. There we go. We're gonna do this. So this is what I'm wearing today. It's like this mint-ish green and this periwinkle. And I've had like three or four different people at work today were like, oh, like I'm loving these spring colors. And I was like, I feel the opposite. I was like, I looked at it and I was like, I want to wear that today because I am exhausted. But anyway, that's why I thought it was funny, because it was the coming of spring. And people were like, oh my gosh, like I'm loving these spring colors on you today. Meanwhile, I'm wearing a winter coat coming into work. But anyway, so I'm gonna go look for that. I think the gold one. I don't know what card I put that on. I think it's on a. It should be on a king. I think it's on a king. Oh, I literally just read it though. Material intervention. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's interesting too. Material intervention with the return of Earthkeeper energies. I'm glad I kept doing this, I guess. Here it is. It's literally the last three cards. Literally the last three. Oh, snap. Oh, it's the Five of Diamonds, which is the Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. Nearly perfect harmony, a crystal clear night of charted stars, and triplets in the third trimester. I just went looking for the crystal clear night of charted stars because that energy came out. Recently. I thought about that reading earlier today too. And on the other side is an abrupt change of season, the vision catching up to fantasy, the filling of valleys and the falling of mountains. This card also came out, an abrupt change of season, and a crystal clear night of charted stars. This is the Joker. This is the Joker. Which could be the Fool. It's the only playing cards, they have the big Joker and the little Joker, right? They got two Jokers, which is the energy of all of the major arcana in one, which would be, to put another layer on this, that would be the Keeper. This would be the Initiate, the Child, the Seeker, the Hunter, and then the Keeper here. And I'm actually That was the initiate. There she is. Look at that! New World Order! But this time it's on the other side. New World Order, the Keeper, and the Champion. I love that. The Champion is the six of chalices, the six of scepters, six of wands. And in this deck in particular, the three wise men come together for in search of prophecy at the three of wands. And it is foretold that a crown prince, like there will be a king who is found because of a crown prince. And in the five of wands, there's a competition that's held to determine who's going to be the new king. And it's prophesied that it's going to be a prince, but in reality, it ends up being a princess. They expected a masculine energy, but they got a feminine one. It could be a female with masculine energy, but it's the space of how something, and it almost goes back to councils and the energy above the council that knows more of those branch pathways, and so it can read chance better. It's like if we speak of probabilities, like the energy above the council can read things that are 0.00000000000000000 infinitely more 1% chances of happening. But council energy, like let's say it can do 0.0001. And let's say that we can do at our best, maybe like 0.1, maybe 1, maybe like 50 or 75, 80, 90, maybe 99.9. Like I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, because it was like a 99.99999999999% chance of happening. Basically everything except the 0.000000001. But again, the energy of that above the council knows that one. The one that we are so sure like won't happen. This time it ends up being a princess who becomes the queen instead of the prince who becomes king. Or it's a princess who becomes king, Let's take gender out of it. Even though it's the thing that it's not entirely incorrect, but there is a stark difference there. Anyway, I love that in this. I'm going to look for the keeper over here too. We're going to get both keepers. It is interesting that 21 energy came out again, New World Order. Oh my gosh. The High Priestess, the Keeper, the Kindred. Which is interesting because here is the Three of Scepters. I know it's at the top of this deck because I saw it when I was not too deep into it. There it is. Here's the Three of Scepters where the three masculine energies come together to get a prophecy foretelling the new king. The one that, here are the three women. And the difference between them, I wish I didn't do that, is that between the three masculines, there's one fire between them. Between the three masculines, there's one fire between them. But each feminine has her own cup. So it's like they each get their own prophecy rather than sharing the same one. And what that does is it's almost like as they're able to peer into different pools of potential and possibility, they can find the sort of overlap between them. So it's almost like three heads are better than one type of energy. But it's the High Priestess up here. and the High Priestess in New World Order, and then the Kindred and the Champion. It almost feels like these would be the three that's able to predict that it is actually the princess. And I think that introduces an interesting thread. Oh, snap. I didn't even think about that, Eve. The three women, the three fates, the three sisters. Like Ariel expected boy, but getting a girl. It could be very much that, actually. So if you see this, Ariel, it could very much be that. And it's like, regardless of if it's a prince or a princess, the kingdom gets a new sovereign. And that was the thing, right? The crowning. That was Rob, the coronation, the crowning, the new sovereign. And I love that it said sovereign instead of king or queen. But anyway. Oh my gosh. Look. These are empresses. Not empresses. This is the empress. These are the three. They come in empress energy. Just like the three masculines, they're wearing ram's heads as emperor energy. You see them? Little ram heads, ram skulls to signify the emperor energy. And another thing about this that's interesting is this is Orania. She's the mother of the muses, not the mother of the fates. But it's almost like, again, we have the three sisters with the mother. Just like the Four of Swords or the Four of Chalices. I think it was the Four of Cups in the Mystical Dream Tarot. The three sisters and then the fourth one. She's here again. Okay, love that. That's cute. Nice little synchronicity there. And the triple moon goddess, exactly. And triplets in the third trimester. Triplets in the third trimester is triple moon goddess energy, but it's like, and Rob talked about that in the Pisces read today. It's like the mother, the maiden, and the crone technically all being born at the same time, but it's where they all occupy the same space at the same time. Rather than it being like different phases, they all sort of simultaneously exist. And something about the mystery behind that, almost in terms of like it hasn't yet been birthed into the world because they're in the third trimester. They're about to be birthed any day now. But anyway, yeah, I did pick up on that too, but I got lost on this other train. Because there's, the waxing, the waning, and the full. And we don't actually see the full moon, but this. And it's still at the top of the deck. Right? It's not. Girl, hold up. Because it was at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the deck. The top and the bottom of the Wild Unknown the last time I used it. No, they're the same phase of the moon. Hold up. Is it this? Was it those two being opposite phases of the moon? Maybe it was those two. Yeah, I think it was these two at the top of the deck because that is the bottom. Oh, did you see me open right up to the Empress? Did y'all see the Empress? Hold up. I opened right up to the Empress. Now she's gone. The different phases of the moon. Last time this was at the top of the deck. The waxing and the waning. With that Wheel of Fortune, that was again, as we shifted from Four of Pentacles consciousness to Six of Pentacles consciousness. All that sets into motion. Just because there are certain things that it's not fair to expect from children. And because it's not fair to expect certain things from children, there are things that children don't have access to. It's almost locked by, well, they say with great power comes great responsibility. So once we show ourselves collectively responsible, we're given and granted power equal to the level of responsibility that we're capable of exhibiting and exercising, that we're capable of exercising. Which is, again, it's like that's why the Earthkeeper returns, the Empress is back, everything is sort of like with the New World Order and the High Priestess. It is really like, it feels like foretold golden era age, whatever. Um, but it's just like, if we could really, really, truly, instantly manifest did somebody say that? If we could really, truly, instantly manifest anything, how many people right now would use that power to manifest things to gain dominion over other people? I feel like somebody was talking about manifesting tanks. It was like, who would manifest the tank? Like, would you actually manifest the tank if you could? Did somebody say something about manifesting a tank? Is that something that somebody said? Because I feel like I've heard it. I don't know. Nine of Cups. Was it the Nine of Cups? Oh, here's the deck. I think it was these two, though, but it might have been that Nine of Cups. Let's see. Now I gotta look. I'm pulling out 3 decks on this third one. That's fine. Oh, look. Did you see that? I accidentally like popped up the Nine of Cups. It's literally right there. But that's the same phase as this Nine of Wands is, which is the same as the moon. And there's that Five of Cups, Mother of Cups, Eight of Wands, Hangman. Oh, well, there's Wands. Wait, Nine of Wands, what? They already are. Right? Okay. Cute work. But that's the Blade and the Luminous Warrior. It's like, again, with this coming out around the energy of the Archangel Commander, the Archangel Commander helps to make us keepers. But it's not until, it's almost like when you have the birds and the bees conversation with your parents or with whoever, but your parents almost wait until you start expressing interest. Or maybe they wait until you reach a certain age. But the conversation, it feels like those cool parents or whatever, where the conversation is more of like giving you all of the information and telling you the many ways that you can protect yourself when you feel that you're ready to have that experience with whoever you feel is for you to have that experience with, rather than a more abstinence only sort of approach. Because to tell a child or even a teenager or even a lot of adults, as let me, sorry. I made it almost 2 hours avoiding all of the chili peppers. I almost went there, but it's fine. It's like for some people, when you tell them not to do something, then it makes them want to do it. And especially if it's like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, but you don't tell them how to protect themselves, then they're going to do it and they're not going to know how to protect themselves. But it feels more like when we express interest, because even though when it first came out, it felt like the energy of us going to Archangel Michael specifically or a council in general about a problem. And the council in general, for whatever reason, communicates to us that they're not going to be able to do it for us. We're going to have to do it ourselves. In the case of Archangel Michael, it was like, he's like, you have my sword. So with the power of the sword, you can do this. And then after we use Michael's sword to do whatever it is that we need to do, we go to Michael to return the sword. And then Michael's like, that's not my sword. My sword is not something that can be so easily separated from me. That sword is yours. Now let me teach you how to use it. That was the story that came out. Was that 2020? I don't know. Before. It came out previously. Which is, again, it's interesting which that's the reason why I went looking for the energy of the Archangel Commander in the first place. It's because this pile was the Luminous Warrior with the blade. And there's something about this Luminous Warrior that understands the power of the blade in a way that the Luminous Warrior is not using the blade without discernment or without discretion. It feels like the Luminous Warrior understands that the blade isn't something that you use just to get what you want, or the blade isn't something that you use to force events to go in your way, and the blade isn't something that you use to spite someone else or to get vengeance or whatever. Again, there are certain things that you don't give to children. The blade is one of the things that you don't give to children for very obvious reasons. It's a blade. You don't put the blade in the hands of a child. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm done. It's like 2 hours, but that's fine. Um, Again, maybe it doesn't matter where the Earthkeeper came out. I was thinking to use the Earthkeeper as the marker for where we are on this trajectory, because the Earthkeeper is the card that came out in the Gate 8 video that Miss Remy Healings just did. But it's like there's this trajectory that there's this path that we take as individuals. And then there's the path, there's like where humanity is. It's like an average, the average human being all humans averaged is somewhere on this, but the individual themselves can be anywhere. I think this also speaks to, in a lot of ways, the age of Aquarius that we've manifested. I think there were a lot of things that were foretold by ancient cultures and civilizations of a golden age or era or time. I think there are also things that the age of Aquarius has become, but I don't necessarily think, and that's one of the reasons why I take the approach that I take when I read. As I read, is that I've realized through life and through observation that a lot of times when we ask for things, we don't necessarily think of the environment that makes those things possible. So it's like we can ask for something, we can see something, we can manifest something, and not necessarily at the same time think of the person that we have to be to have that and the things that we have to do to maintain it. We just want the thing. And again, it's like with divine energy, a lot of times the way it works us to the thing is by evolving us in a way to get it and maintain it, or to whatever, right? To acquire it in some way, but to also keep it. Again, it's very teach a man to fish energy. Because if we're constantly having to be fished for, there are a lot of mouths on this planet. And while divine energy, as infinitely capable as it is, could just make fish rain from the sky, I think back to the child in the upper world, also to the curse and the beloved, understands that it's more beneficial and fruitful to us to teach us how to fish. And it also opens us up to all of the possibilities that knowing how to fish and being fishermen, um, like all the things that that lifestyle can sort of give us. Because when you're given fish, you don't necessarily, it almost goes back to like being given the thing rather than working for the resource to get the thing. We develop a different understanding of the correlation of things. And it's not only about appreciation, but appreciation is a part of it. It's not only about value and worth, but learning and knowing value and worth is a part of it. There's a lot of things that are a part of it. There are infinitely many things that are a part of it, and many things that we won't understand until we become fishermen, and then we get it. Which is again, it goes back to the energy of the Empress here and the Gatherer here. When we were children, those words were lost on us, but as we grow and mature, they make sense. And that happens in real life in many ways. It's like, wow, this person was right. It's like, yeah, they were. Even though they were wrong, even though we were so convinced that they were wrong, they were right. Or even though we knew they were right, they're even more right than we thought they were. Or maybe we thought they were right and then we learned that they were wrong. With the Seven of Cups and the Council, right? Oh, it's no, yeah. Or maybe we discovered that they were partially right. It's just that there's more. It's like life, you know? There's more to life than any one person is capable of communicating, which is another thing about it's fine. I don't have to go there. It's fine. This is concise. It's nice as it is. Let's leave it here. Um Oof, this is a lot of decks to go through. But I am gonna. Oh, what just happened? I am gonna timestamp final messages though, as I put all of these away. And I'm gonna say that's at 2 hours and 9 minutes, because that's fine. 2:09. Fun fact, by the way, if you are a person who has a channel, if you go into your description box and when you put the timestamps in your description box, if you have something, anything at 0, it'll bookmark the video. So that's why, you can put like introduction 00, and then you put your timestamps in Aries, 1 minute, blah, 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 Taurus, 15 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Then it'll bookmark the video so that if I'm watching on my TV, and now because they changed the YouTube app on the TV, so now they have the chapters in the video, so I can just like navigate to that section of the video within the video rather than trying to find a comment with the timestamp or the description. I can see the description box on the app now too. So if I'm watching on my TV, I don't have to pull out my phone to see where Pisces or Taurus starts. Or the pile that I pick or whatever. It's fine. You don't have to, but if you were curious or wondering or wanted to make my life more convenient, then you could. You don't have to. But I feel like it would be in the spirit of this reading if you did. Not going to guilt you or spiritually pressure you into doing. I'm just playing. As long as you don't disable chapters. I didn't know. I didn't even know you could disable chapters. Oh, snap, Raya. How you doing? How long have you been here? Did I miss you? Sorry. Good night, Holly. Have a great night. Anyway. Let me try to put these back in their respective decks. Oh, I've been so bad with the chat. It's fine. Y'all know me by now. Entertain yourselves. I'm kidding. Oh gosh. The Archangel Commander was like, I'm not done yet. Was that the High Priestess? No, it's the Archangel of Mysteries. Eh, tomato. Mm-hmm. Oh, my mom just went live. Do. Oh, look. The Empress 3. New World Order 21-3. Interesting. Oh, look at that. The Corruptor 7, 16 Tower 7. And it has the Axe of Shiva that removes corruption. And on that Axe of Shiva are two opposite phases of crescent moons. One is waxing, one is waning, but this time they're facing each other rather than being opposite in that triple goddess fashion. They're facing each other. Let's do this. There we go. Hey, Steph, how you doing? Ooh, strength into the Hermit. Okay. The Ace of Coins into the Two of Coins. Love it. And the title card. All right. The High Priestess going on top of the title card. Love it. Is that the title card? Oh my gosh. The title card and the other title card and the Ten of Pentacles were off to the side still. We'll get there someday. Still sick. I hope you get to feeling better soon. Did I know you were sick? Are you still home? Are you still with family? Are you still out of state? Oh, you just started antibiotics yesterday. Okay. Well, hopefully they kick in for you. Okay. I'll take it. I will honor that title card immediately, just flipping right over the Queen of Swords into the King of Swords. This is interesting. I feel like this is a very more than anything, children see action. More than children hear words, more than children whatever else. They see action. And so I feel like there is a double message in us sort of conducting ourselves in a way. Okay, there's three. One is like the way that we go about accomplishing things it has an effect on the things when they come in. The second is like there is a generation after us, there is a world around us that sees our actions and that will either mimic and replicate our actions or that will judge us on our actions. Not necessarily in a judgmental way, more so in a do I want to collaborate and cooperate, work with that individual type of way. And I think the third is to rethink or analyze or look at the way that others acted around us when we were in our formative years and to question, consider if there are habits and patterns that we sort of picked up because there was no other way that we saw something being expressed or communicated. But it feels like it would be more so like it almost feels like therapy, or something, a breakthrough that will come in therapy. Um, and it's like, oh, that's why I express myself in this way when I'm feeling this emotion. Or that's why, like, I've never seen this expressed in a different way, so I don't know how to do it. And it's funny because before I started this, I was talking about how there's been so much in my own personal life. It was like, you're not who you used to be. And I realized what, Monday? Was that Monday or was that last Friday? There was some point this week or at the end of last week that my bye bye wound was triggered. And I was like, I was feeling kind of like weird or a little off. And then it's like after I realized that my bye bye wound was triggered, it kind of sort of like went away. It didn't just go away though. I was able to make a conscious choice in a space where I was subconsciously triggered um, through circumstances. It's like these circumstances are like those that I experienced in the past, and I feel some type of way. But it's like, once I was able to see it, I was able to make a choice, and I made a choice that I just wasn't capable of making when I was a depressed mess. But that's fine. You went from the flu to bronchitis. Oh gosh. Oh. I used to get bronchitis whenever the seasons changed. I don't miss it. I think it was almost coming down in January because I was working a lot, not getting any rest. My body was like, I can't do this. But I hope you get to feeling better again. Excuse me. I hope you get some good rest, though. I hope you get some good rest. When I say bye bye, yeah. I think Reem was like bye bye wound. I was like, yeah, because it's an old one. If the name doesn't give it away, that's and I was like, wow, Saturn is really out here just like going for the gut. But at the same time, I'm glad that number one, I'm glad that my universe reminded me well in advance in plenty of ways that I'm not who I used to be. But I'm also glad that I was of a mind to listen I'm glad that when I encountered another old fear, um, last November, December, that I decided I wouldn't allow that fear to get me to run away and to get me to quit, because I lived that life and I didn't want to go back to it. Um, and yeah, I don't have to go any further, but I'm grateful and appreciative to the choices and decisions that I made, to the what intelligent universe, compassionate divine, um, and yeah, I mean, I already said the choices, but like, the journey and the healing up to this point, because again, it's like I wouldn't have been able to continue on the path that I'm on. I wouldn't have been able to continue to allow space for the nurturing and development of relationships that are in my life. Um, and if Saturn is going to give me a gift, it's gonna be one that child Patrick was incapable of receiving. Uh, at least teenage Patrick. I'm not gonna say like fully grown luminous warrior Patrick, although my boss has been teaching me to use the blade. Life has been teaching me when and how to wield the blade. And that was Kizzy Cat. That was Kirsty. It was Kirsty, right? That talked about, was it Kirsty? See you later, Twitty. Have a good evening. Was it Kirsty that talked about the sword versus the gun? Or was that somebody else? About how the sword requires precision and balance and a lot of things. When the gun is like, aim and shoot. Maybe it was Kirsty? Okay. I thought so. Yeah. Definitely, definitely the Blade and the Luminous Warrior. It was Shayna? Okay. Oof, I'm getting them all mixed up. It was Xenodox Media. Yeah, because she talked about I remember because I know that she plays Final Fantasy 14. And when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. It was Shanna, yeah. I remember now. Oof. Thank you for correcting me. Um, the Vision Quest and the Wild Woman. But yeah. So I guess at this point I'm just you got mixed. I know it's like it's so many now. I'm just playing. I was like, I know someone said this approximately. Is this deck not ready? I'll pull a card from this one last. But yeah, life in all of its strange ways has been preparing me, um, in a lot of ways that, again, it's A, not surprising. B, how else would I get to this point? C, it's been coming up in a lot of spaces. D, I am going through my low Saturn return. So E, hopefully it's not a mess like how I've heard stories. And F, um, I've had a feeling that Saturn would bring me a gift. But G, I didn't expect to feel the way I was feeling. Like I was triggered. Like I remember when the fear came back up, what, November, December? I was like, I haven't been like this afraid in years. Like that fear came back Like I was who I used to be. That fear came back like I haven't been braving and journeying and healing. And I was like, wow, do I really want to feel this again? I should just quit. I should just go away to where everything is safe. And I was like, you know what? That was my old pattern though. That was my old habit. And do I want to not even try? It took like a few weeks. It took a few weeks. But eventually I reached the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I've that cycle, that period is over. Um there was a time when I had increased responsibilities at work because someone was going out on maternity leave. And they're back. They came back Tuesday. I survived somehow because there were a lot of times I wanted to just like leave. I was like, you know what? I don't need this as much as you seem to think I need this. And I have absolutely no qualms, no problems with just leaving. But anyway, the lovers with temperance at the bottom of the deck. The lovers flipped over. So it was actually, I don't know if you saw it. No, you didn't. It was in reverse between temperance and the page of. Oh, there's another one. What? So the lovers is in between the page of cups and temperance, which is gorgeous, cute, love it. Who is this? In between the eight of wands and the page of cups. It's the queen of cups. Okay. Anybody else flipped over in here? No? Okay. The lovers and the queen of cups. Why is this dude like not even in the same plane as this woman? Thanks, Eve. Now I know my ABCs. Have y'all heard the new ABC song? It doesn't go L-M-N-O-P to make it easier for the children so that they don't think that Elemento is a letter that comes before P in the alphabet. Like he's not even really there, not fully there. Oh, let me stop. Okay. But temperance is at the bottom of the deck. So because temperance is down here, there is this energy. It feels like maybe it's materializing. Something that is felt or known or foreseen with the Queen of Cups is now materializing because of choices and decisions, going off of that thread that I was already talking about, right? And then it's almost like temperance is again going off of that energy of the divine teaching us to fish, while devil energy might give us a fish in charge, giving us a fish and charging us a shark, the thing that eats the fish. I don't know. Um, and again, going off of that, like this, it's fishing ourselves, and it becomes more and more sort of real, more and more tangible, more and more in phase, more and more in alignment. It's almost like they're on two different planes of existence, or like slightly out of phase with each other, so they can't fully touch. Um, Also, it feels like if the lovers is choices, it goes back to the eight of coins and the high sage that came out in the saponification spread, where it was in the eight of pentacles came out with the magician, the eight of pentacles and the magician. Um, it's about like in the moment not necessarily knowing fully how things are going to play out, but as we do the things that we're sort of guided to do, These are those unforeseen consequences, where the unforeseen consequence is actually the fulfillment of a wish or desire. Kind of sort of goes back to that hushed divine energy and the curse and the beloved. But again, with temperance down here, it feels like it brings it more and more and more incrementally into reality, into phase, into alignment, into existence. And it feels also like it becomes more and more permanent too. So you can read that as it lasts longer rather than it being this fleeting, ephemeral mayfly thing. Like a ghost lover. Yeah, that it was kind of sort of ghost lover. Ooh, Queen of Cups, stop. That's not what it's for. Maybe it is. Maybe the Queen of Cups has found a way to transcend distance and to experience the touch of a lover as if they were there in the room. I don't know. That's between the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Cups. Patrick is going to stay out of that. What the Queen of Cups does, that's her business. I didn't talk about the Sage of Essences really at all, but it is that energy of it's what the card said, mastering the game of life, material intervention. Um, the coming of spring though is interesting. I guess the full moon of Virgo would be 2 days before the vernal equinox. If it's still on March 20th, it might be a little early. I don't know exactly when the sun is going to transit into Aries. I know one year it actually happened on the 19th here, Central Time, America. I think that was last year. Pretty sure that was last year. Okay, can I get one of these, please? I'll take these two. And I'll take this one. Love it. Love it even more. So we have the 10 of Wands. Or, oh, look, 6 plus 4 equals 10. And they're all different. The 6 of Spades, the 4 of Diamonds, the 10 of Clubs, and the 2 of Clubs at the bottom of the deck. No hearts. But that's fine. An internal truth burning to be seen, the yin side of masculinity, a thrusty yet elegant dance. Dawn before the first day of a new world, an old earth passed away, a breathtaking sight. Nearly awakened hidden power, breath that takes the shape of one's truest desires, and a commitment to self, with embodying hope, a fount of truth, and a tongue of light at the bottom of the deck. Um, I feel like this goes back to so there was a thread of the child and the upper world that I couldn't find to communicate. Um, and God, speaking of Shayna, and Shayna, speaking of the Eternals, it's not the Eternals, but it feels like there is something that was seated within humanity, a power, a very divine power that rests within us that is yet to really fully blossom and mature. Maybe it's the divine, the seed of the divine within the human soul, right? And how that seed is still like it still has to mature before it fully blossoms into everything. And that is part of the luminous warrior's luminosity. Uh, and it feels like that's the internal truth burning to be seen. Dawn before the first day of a new world. Breath that takes a breathtaking sight and breath that takes the shape of one's truest desires. It's interesting that we have breath, and the tongue. It reminds me of white wind. Is it white wind? Do I still have that? Can you hear on your live? What? She texted me. I don't know what she's talking about. It's one of the Mayan solar seals. It looks like a little tongue and it's white. I think it's white wind. It reminds me of that for some reason. But yeah, I don't know if I still have it. Darn it. But I know where I can find it. But I know where I can find it. Oh, wait. When did Russ text me? Ooh. Sorry, Russ. My phone was on silent. Oh my gosh. Here we go. No. No. I said, oh, here it is. No, no. I set myself up. It was a setup. Okay. I can do it this way. Uh, Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I really set myself up with that one, but it's fine. If I can find it. I should have just looked it up. That would have been easier than whatever I'm doing right now. Darn it. That's fine. It reminds me of that. Oh, you're listening as you work. Okay. Mayan solar. Are they seals? Speaking of seals, they are seals. Or it popped up when I typed in solar seals. They are solar seals. Speaking of golden seals, Eve. Uh, not the wizard, not the mirror, not the world purchase. It is wind, white wind. Oh, it's number two. Communicates and spirit. Here we go. Maybe this will help me. Pinterest, darn you. Oh, it's right here. Uh Wind, bringer of storm clouds and life-giving rain. Breath of life. I don't know that much about yeah, solar seals, Mayan, um Mayan astrology. That's Sulkin. I forget what it's called. My brain is like gone and I'm tired. And it's been almost 3 hours. It's fine. It makes me think of the white wind. I don't even know that much about white wind, but it makes me think of white wind. It's that tongue of light, the tongue of light, the breathtaking sight, breath that takes the shape of one's truest desires. And it's interesting that all of this breath, mouth, tongue energy, it's on every card except the spade, which is the sword, which is the air. But it does have the internal truth begging, or the internal truth burning to be seen. The word begging to be spoken, but it's hushed here. The yin side of masculinity, the feminine side of masculinity. Speaking of hushed energy. But hush no more, right? Does it really? It might be worth looking into. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I've gone deep enough. I don't need to make this a 5-hour video. Yes. Liquid light that carves its way through night. Let's see, where is it? It's the 5 of diamonds, isn't it? Because I went looking for it last time and I was like, oh, look, it's the 5 of diamonds. No. Was it the king of diamonds? It was the card that was right here. This was liquid light that carves its way through night. What was that? Was it a king of diamonds? No. It was diamonds. I'm pretty sure it was diamonds. It was the king of hearts. That's what it was. It was the king of cups. Because I was like, oh, this is what the king of cups was looking for. King of hearts. Just kidding. Who was it? Who was it? Oof. It's fine. Apparently. Maybe. I'm going to try to find one more time. Am I missing a card? Here it is. It was the 9 of diamonds. I should have just stayed on the diamond thing. It was diamonds. It was the 9 of pentacles and then the king of cups. And then justice, maybe? The 9 of diamonds, an accurate depiction, a true to life tale, liquid light that carves its way through night. And the sun and the moon are both here. But what I love most about this is that it's the 9 of diamonds. When we had the 3, 5, 4, Wheel of Fortune 6, Death 7, then the 8 that came out. Now, thanks to Eve, here's the 9. The 9 of diamonds, we've reached the 9 of earth. But this time we reached the 9 of earth in a way that isn't predicated by the limitations of the physical. Anyway. Okay, if I'm still here, then I will see you when you return. I hope the food is yummy, even though it's mush. Oh, 10 of cups, the joyous one with the hermit. Wait, the erudite, actually. Was it erudite? I think that was the word. I was helping one of my friends study for the GRE, and she had flashcards for vocabulary. and one of the words was erudite. And was it Game of Thrones? Was it the Hunger Games or something else? Somebody was like, "Oh, erudite, like the era whatever people from the Hunger Games or something like that." I was like, "I don't know. I've never seen the Hunger Games." Oh, okay. Well, we got the Hangman. The bottom of the deck is the bereaved, which is interesting because the bottom of the deck is the bereaved, which is interesting because Isis is here. And I actually thought about Isis recently. Maybe it was because of the dream I had. I was actually going to ask Remy about Isis, or I was going to say something to Remy about Isis, but I didn't. Um, was it because she resurrected Osiris? I don't know. The Hanged Man and the Malays. A 3 and a 9. 339. The moon in Sagittarius, the element of water, modernly Neptune, which rules Pisces. So, yes, Rob, the Hanged Man is a Pisces card. Um, oh, that's a good question. I feel like you got to make it special. The first food that you eat with that new set of teeth. This is all. This is a rabbit hole that I am not knowledgeable enough to go down, but shout out to Kirsty and Corey because that looks almost Templar cross to me. I know nothing about the Templars, and I am perfectly okay with knowing nothing about the Templars. I don't need to know. It's fine. My mom is in the other room, like, "Are you here, Father? Are you here?" It's his birthday today, and she's live. So that's why she's like, "What? Did it just say that? My father is in the room." Um, it feels like the Malays guards the Hanged Man. Um, there's a whole thing here that I am not getting into. So that's not in my wheelhouse. Look at the look at the Archangel Commander though. Oh, with the erudite again. We're just gonna put that back. We're gonna shuffle that. For those who whatever, maybe there's something that you can get out of that. Oh, 6 of Wands, the champion. All right, let's try this again. Ooh, gonna have to copy and paste that real quick. There we go. Thank you, Matthew. You see this one? The Gardener. Saturn and Taurus. The bottom of the deck, the Archangel of Healing. I don't know if I've ever noticed the fish, like literally right there. But it's only one fish. There's supposed to be two fish for Pisces. These feel like phoenix feathers. Phoenix down. Speaking of Shayna in Final Fantasy 14. Speaking of trees and the roots. This is a leaf caught in an eddy. Um, what is it? Something about a shift in the wind, a leaf caught in an eddy. It's a Dietology card. Um, why do they almost look like the same person? This is a Chiron, and it reads like Chiron, but it's different. Chiron is Chiron because he is the wounded immortal who does everything in his power, who everything he can to try to cure himself. And in him trying so hard to cure himself of the incurable, he learns to heal nearly anything, almost everything but the thing that afflicts Chiron. And this feels like a very similar sort of healing energy, but it feels like it's a healer that's not wounded. Or the wound isn't the source of the healing or something like that. The wound doesn't drive the healing. There's also the landscape here looks very arid. And I think I'm gonna have to go back. I think the white wind mentioned rain, life giving rain. Yeah. Wind, bringer of storm clouds and life giving rain. That life giving rain, it made me think of that because this landscape looks dry. It looks pretty dry. There's no water here for the roots to take up. And the Archangel of Healing, King of Cups energy, angel who salves and purifies. Um, that takes me back to Rob's Pisces reading again because he said something with that soul wound and soul salve popped into my mind. And here's the angel who solves and purifies. He said something else, but I was like, oh, like a soul salve. Um, but this is the water. It feels like because the earth is so dry in this Seven of Pentacles, the water has to be extra potent because it's gonna be almost immediately soaked up. So in the little bit of water, it's like it's gonna have to last the tree maybe until the rain falls. Maybe the Archangel of Healing is concocting something to. Oh, and look at the clouds in the sky. Bringer of clouds and life giving rain. Wait. Like some kind of weather potion to make it rain, like how Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I don't remember what he was doing, but like if this was a machine that can make it rain. I don't know what increasing the potency of water would mean, but it's interesting because here's the fish, the creature whose home is in water. It's almost like the fish is The archangel of healing is consulting the fish. And the thing, maybe it's because the fish lives in water. There's something about living in the environment, which I kind of love for this gardener energy, because when the rains return to this place, when the tree um, becomes full of foliage again, the fruits of this tree are going to be used to sustain the gardener. And so it is an energy of like creating a life, hopefully a life that we want to live, right? Who's under that archangel of healing? The archangel of glory. Okay. An ATM? I wish. That's that busted ATM that's just spitting out hundreds. Like, okay. That is funny though, because it reminds me, one of my coworkers went to a wedding, and she was like, this one dude was drunk at the wedding, and he told me to rate. She was like, he told me to make it rain, but he only had $6 in his wallet, and he was like, make sure you give me my money back. Make sure you give me my money back. He's like, how am I supposed to make it rain with $6? But they did it. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. The outlaw and the bereaved again. If I see that but the Nine of Wands is different in the Vitruvian edition than it is in the Revelations edition. I already said I'm not going there. We're not going there. Stop trying to make it happen. Stop trying to make the Hangman, the Three of Swords, and the Knight of Wands happen. Regina George could have made fetch happen. If there's one thing that Mean Girls taught me, it's that anything that Regina George did, other girls would emulate. If Regina didn't hate Gretchen, she could have made fetch happen. But Gretchen would have been the first, and Regina couldn't have that. So because Regina said that fetch isn't going to happen, fetch didn't happen. Regina George was not a good friend. Just saying. It doesn't pay to be a mean girl. I'm just sorry. Anyway, who was that? Did y'all see that card like flip and not even turn over? It happened again. There we go. Thank you. Oh wait, who was that? The Golden Shield. Bottom of the deck is the Initiate. We also have the Memory Keeper. Here's the child. There's the child. And there's the parent of the child. Sanctum of Splendor. I kind of want to read this one. The Golden Shield. The Golden Shield is the power and authority of fire. This is fire that protects, safeguards, nurtures, and defends. Look at that. The yin side of masculinity is earth. Never mind. The shield itself, which is the source of angelic power, features a Zoroastrian prayer inscribed in Old Persian cuneiform. Lord of wisdom and light, protect my people from our enemies, from famine, and from falsehoods. The three plates of inscriptions meet at a center set stone of amber. Below it, the solar cross. Oh my gosh, they gave me this cross again. It's different, I think. The solar cross is also reminiscent of a double vajra for the powers of thunder. Alternating colors evocative of the sun and fire further fortify the shield. The patron guardian of the golden shield in this sanctum of splendor is Nuska or Nusku, the Mesopotamian god of light and fire, son of the moon god. Nusku is the light illuminating the dark moon, the eve before the new moon, and present on the new moon. Rituals for honoring the god of light or the god of fire invariably include invocations of Nuska. Nuska is also the patron god of arts and civilization, human ingenuity, and creativity. He is fire, innovation, bronze, and the enlightenment that rises from human reason. He later evolved into the Babylonian and Akkadian god of fire, Gera. The Babylonian trinity of gods consists of Enki or Ea, a god associated with water, wisdom, the arts, and is a spiritual father figure. Marduk, son of Enki, god of agriculture, justice, and patron god of Babylon. And thirdly, Niska, the god associated with fire and the mediator between Enki and Marduk. Which is interesting. Speaking of gate 8 finally opening away, here's the mediator between Marduk and Enki. The golden shield, also known as the shield of light, has transported you to a fire temple in a reimagined, reconstructed Persepolis. The architecture of the temple features Persepolitan columns with fluted shafts and capitals carved with winged bulls and the sun, symbolizing gateway guardians and the story of Ahura Mazda, creating the animals of earth from an androgynous bull. Upon Nuska's crown is twin winged bulls, conveying that here he is the personification of a gateway, a guardian spirit who will transport you to safety where you will be protected by the light. Between the pillars, you can see into the distance, noting the new moon. Moreover, it's a solar eclipse when the new moon aligns itself between the earth and the sun. Persians believe that the solar eclipse was a good omen, one that portends glory and success, which is interesting because, on the contrary, medieval Europeans interpret the solar eclipse as a bad omen. And when I was looking at, good night, Eve. Have a great night. Hey, Shayna, how you doing? Um, when I was looking at the solar eclipse, last year or the year before, so many things said it was a bad omen. Once again, interesting. The Golden Shield, the Memory Keeper, and the Initiate. This again, it just feels like it reads exactly how the child and the upper world read when whatever cards came out. Uh, the the Diceology cards, an internal truth burning to be seen. The seed of the divine within each of us. That's what that was. That's the seed of the divine within each of us that we nurture or we attempt to nurture, but it's like the landscape is too arid, it's too dry for it to really bloom. Insert, Archangel of Healing to get that seed within us to really start to, blossom, germinate, sprout. And it feels like that's what this Six of Cups energy is as well. It's these things finally starting to blossom and bloom within us. And all of the new pathways and potentials that it opens. I love that the initiate is here, which is like new pathways with Nuska question mark, who is a gateway personified, the guardian of the portal who ushers us into this thing. Love it. Your name was said 3 times. Yeah. And gate 8, uh, Janelle. And how God Marduk was wisening, becoming wiser. Oh, Temple of the Fathers. Look at this. Yeah, I was talking about how you mentioned the sword because the blade came out with the Luminous Warrior. Oh, I was like, was that Kizzy Cat? Was that Kirsty that mentioned the sword? And then Eve and someone else. I don't remember. I was like, that was Shayna. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And I should have known that was Shayna because Shayna be on Final Fantasy 14. Anyway. It's the energy of a seed that was planted along the sun in Scorpio. I love that. It's the energy of a seed that was planted long ago, but again, it just never the environment was never right. The situations and circumstances were never right. It wasn't it's like if it was nurtured, it wasn't done so for long enough for it to actually bloom and germinate. And so it's remained dormant. But what's interesting is for some reason, it feels like the seed begins to shake in the ground before the water is even poured. Because in the Archangel of Healing, the water, it's all on the table, it's all in hand. It hasn't even touched the roots yet. But it feels like the seed is shaking. What does that mean? You had a pint and a half of watermelon juice. Ooh, with lime to cool your gums. No mango juice? Have the mangoes sprouted yet? Are they ripe? Are the mangoes ripe yet? You're leveling Samurai right now? I've renewed my subscription, played for like 2 days, and that was it. It's because of the water under the ground. It's because of the water under the ground. It's not a water table. Is it a water table? Is that the proper terminology? Yeah, it is a water table. The water table is the surface where the water pressure head is equal to. No, it's not. Well, maybe. Hold up. What is a water table? The water table is an underground boundary between the soil surface and the area where groundwater saturates spaces between sediments and cracks in rock. I think it is the water table. Water pressure and atmospheric pressure are equal at this boundary. But it feels like the water table being like that boundary between where a pocket of water under the earth is and the earth. And so that's why the seed starts to shake before the water is poured. Because as the roots deepen and expand, they touch the water table. And so what it does is it pulls up water from even deeper in the earth with this Six of Cups energy, Sun and Scorpio, rather than like sort of rain or water falling on the surface and it's soaking into the soil. It actually pulls up water from a deeper space. And the roots just, I don't know. It reads kind of happenstancy, where one of the roots just so happens to reach in a direction that hits the water table. And that water table, it feels internal. It's I guess it could be read as divine feminine energy. An internal source of water before rain falls externally. It's found within first. So the archangel of healing doesn't even actually have to do the thing because we managed to do it before. I don't know. Take it as it resonates or don't. It's your life, your choice. Use your discernment. I'm not in the business of telling anybody what to do. I just offer perspectives if they resonate for you. Oh, for your hospice peeps. Mangoes have been picked and packed, waiting for the second crop. Mini pads and the arrow. Okay, can I get a final? Oof. Okay, all right. Yeah, I guess I can get a final card now. That was quick. The drum. Number 15 with the hunter. Number 27. The bear. I on my computer, it was only there for a little bit before the lone tree. Oh my gosh. Before the lone tree popped up. Um there was a bear. And I was gonna send Rob a message to be like, hey, your animal popped up. There's a bear on my computer at work. This is a little Ursa Majory. Look at the star on the tip of the nose of the bear. It could be Ursa Major or Ursa Minor. Uh, the bear and the falcon, they're both looking in the same direction, even though the people are facing opposite directions. But the drum in Lakota Sioux um, beliefs, the drum was a gift from Wokinyon, the thunder being, to humanity. And I only know that because I think his name is David Red Elk. I was on a Heyoka mini rabbit hole, a hair tunnel, if you will. Um, and I came across this channel and he talked about Wakinyon and the Heyoka, Wakinyon the thunder being. And there was the bear. Oh my gosh, it was the bear. There's the bear who found, speaking of councils, who was the bear that found where the Wankantanka meet. And the bear learned the song of the Wankantanka. And the bear wanted to be initiated into the council. And so the bear, speaking of Earthkeeper subterranean energies, right? I guess back in the days before humanity found its way to the surface. So I guess we're looping back to that the story of those who came before, who helped us early in the early days, almost coming back full circle, ending with the mystical shaman. Um, but the bear went under the earth and taught the humans. He made a deal with the chief of the humans at the time that if he taught them the song, the Wankantanka would hear it and they would like it and they would welcome them to join them. And that his only caveat was that when the chief of the humans is invited to join the council of the Wankantanka, that he make um, the bear joining part of his joining. Like he'll only join if the bear can also join. And he agreed. And so the bear teaches the humans the song. And maybe he also gave them instruments. I don't remember if he went that far or not. And so one day when the bear knew when the Wankantanka would meet, and so they played the song. And Makinyon, the thunder being, was flying overhead and heard the song coming from below the earth. And so Makinyon went under the earth and scared the crap out of everybody that was down there. But Makinyon was like, I really love this. Like, I love your music. Why don't you come join us? And then Tatanka, the chief of the humans, was like, only if the bear can come. And then she was like, bet. And then, but before she left, Wankinyon blessed the drums of the people. And it was like, whatever malady, oh, going back to the Nine of Wands maladies, okay. Whatever maladies they suffered, all they needed to do was beat the drum and they would be healed. And it was like, if you don't have the drum, you can shake a rattle. If you don't have a rattle, you can clap your hands. If you can't clap your hands, you can stomp a foot. But a steady, repeating beat would trigger that healing. And these two, they remind me of that. I don't know how the falcon plays in, but the drum and the bear from the hunter, it's that. And it's interesting because as I was looking through, trying to find the picture of the Aztec solar seals, I did come across in my chat log yellow electric seed year, which was last. No, it's this year. We're in the year of the yellow electric seed. Blue lunar storm was last year. Or was blue lunar? Yeah. Blue lunar storm was last year. We're in a yellow electric seed year now. I'm pretty sure. Oh, the seed. Duh. That's the seed, right? The seed that was planted within humanity. That's been dormant for a minute. Can y'all hear that? Oh, it's gone. That's stuff now. They're close. I hope I told that right. Um, I'll link the video in the description box. Actually, I will post it really quick. Um, Let me find this video real quick. Let me find this video. Let me find this video real quick. David Little Elk. Oof. I said David Red Elk. It's David Little Elk. And I'm going to post it in the live chat. And I will also post it in the comments. So, this is the video. This should be the video. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? I'll post it in the comments after, or in the description box after. Um, but yeah, this reminds me of Wakinyan and the Thunder Beings, Wakinyan and the humans, which is interesting because again, going back to old Russ, um, the Return of the Thunder Beings. That's what sent me on this. That was part of it because Russ was like, "Oh, the Thunder Beings are going to return. It's the Return of the Thunder Beings." And then I was waiting on the video to explain who the Thunder Beings were, but I don't know if it ever, maybe it did go up and I just missed it. But then I went searching for like the Thunder Beings at one point, and that was how I found, well, that and the Heyoka, because I think the same video talked about both. Because it was hold on, wait, what? Goes from being informed to being the actual information itself and moving forward as both. These two, I'm like super late on reading that comment, but the first Heyoka actually encountered Wakinyan, and that's how he became the Heyoka. So was the hunter the Heyoka? Nah. Look, Return of the Thunder Beings. Oof. I don't use this often, so. Yeah, Wakinyan slash Heyoka. It's all in the same video. I didn't even press copy link. In all of my haste, I didn't do that one thing that kept me from being able to do this. That's the link to the video. But yeah, I feel like it's also an energy of like an ancient medicine or a gifted, granted medicine. Um, Divinely bestowed. And now Tatanka means buffalo. And the thunder card, I guess I'll go for it because we're talking about Wakinyan, the thunder being, the drum, Tatanka. Tatanka was the name of the chief again, but now it means buffalo. The Rainmaker again. And the hummingbird. There's the Tatanka. Buffalo. Because of the wings, this does, it makes me think of the Archangel of Healing. Which is interesting saying that, because again, the Archangel of Healing had an energy. It felt like it was working on creating a machine that would make it rain. And here's the Rainmaker with those wings that is very reminiscent of that Archangel of Healing energy. And then the hummingbird is also here. It's interesting. We have this big yellow celestial body, and both the buffalo and the hummingbird are facing the same direction. All of the animals are facing the same direction in these cards, except for the rainbow, except for the bird and the rainbow. Everybody else, someone's got to go against the grain, right? Someone's got to be difficult. All the animals are facing the same direction. Oh, you didn't post on them as they are quite secretive. Gotcha. Well, I was waiting for that video, Russ, and I never got it. But it did send me on my little journey, I guess, to be able to have the synchronicity that I have now with the drum, for me to be made aware of the teachings and wisdom from another council. Uh, you know? And I think that's one of the things that he mentioned too. It's like when Christianity became a thing and forced assimilation became a thing here, some of the natives' traditional beliefs kind of like blended and merged a little bit. This is what David Little Oak said in the video. so that the one Kantanka became like the personification of what is an equivalent to like God, a singular monotheistic entity. But he said the Wankantanka were originally a council. It was more than one. And Wankinyam was on the council of the Wankantanka. And then Tatanka got invited to the Wankantanka. And whoever the bear, I don't remember the name of the bear. Um, but anyway, that's this. I have officially put back all of the cards from all of the decks. It has been almost 3.5 hours, which is fine. I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I thank everyone for being here and chatting. I'm semi sorry that I wasn't able to keep up with the chat. But that's just how it is sometimes. I know. And I guess that is it for me. So I will catch you all the next time I catch you. Is this unofficial part 2? I guess. I guess this is unofficial part 2. Maybe this is official part 1. I don't know. I'm going through a Saturn return right now, okay? And more so than a Saturn return, I guess I'm going through, we're all going through life. So, I don't know, you know?